Welcome. Good afternoon. Hi. Some familiar faces in the class. Hi. Um, Good afternoon. Introduce myself first. I'm Amy. I'm the head of student counseling under the operation of OSA, and I'm going to here share today is how to deal with students with emotional distress and the support on campus. So I will more emphasize about the support on campus for students, and I will detail explain the procedures, especially for case referral and crisis management. So this is what we are focusing today. Okay. Um, this is the area I will be cover first. I will share the common causes of emotional issues around our young adults. I'm sure some of you here know a lot already, or you come across similar situations already. So I'm still going to share what is happening behind their emotions, and then I will go through the different type of issues that need support. First is the student with special educational needs. We call them SEN students. And then we will go through the student with emotional distress, what the support they require. And the next one is the crisis situations. We don't want to see that, but we do happen. So we will go through what support we provide and then how to handle thereafter. And after that, we will share some important informations like the support on campus and outside campus and other staff resources. I just realized most of our staff don't know where to find the resources in here. So let me explain a little bit. Um, Lastly, Q&A sections. If you have any questions for me, I'm willing to answer. Okay. So, okay. During my sharing, I just want to emphasize I may share some scenario which is really happening in this campus. Just to remind about the confidentialities. I'm not going to disclose the person involved or the name of student, whatever, but just to keep the story inside this room, just not to share outside this room. Okay, just for confidential sake. Okay. So to start with, what are the common causes for having the emotional issues for young people? Okay. Here, usually the first one come first is the relationships. Okay. Can be intimacy, family, or interpersonal. And what I experience is the interpersonal problem is quite common, especially when the start of the school, like September or the first semester. Okay. The young people are that having difficulty to making new friends when they come to the new environment. So this will cause them very disturbed, very unhappy. Some may just drag along until this semester, even the second semester, they still haven't made any friends. So they are really disturbing. They probably want to quit university. They have this kind of thoughts. So so interpersonal issues for the young adults is quite serious sometimes. Next, the growing up, probably because of their background, they have frequently changed their caregiver or they don't have any unstable living environment. Usually, these young people are more anxious. They're easily stressed out. They don't know how to make friends sometimes. So that probably make them really resist very unstable with stress sometimes. Okay. Next one is bullying. Okay, not to underestimate bullying. Okay, no matter the experience is like primary school or high school, but the effects still carry on until here. Okay, and recently, I think cyberbullying is one of the harmful scenario. Okay, usually they are anonymous name, on the internet, and they can be very harmful wordings, and they don't know who they are, but sometimes the student have rumination about who the people are. They start thinking about what's next, and so on and so on. Okay, so bullying is one of those big things, if they come across. And next is something really happen. Some situation things that really happen. For example, it's like trauma. Doesn't have to be the person who experienced trauma. It could be the person who witnessed the traumas. For example, like accidents or seeing a fire somewhere or something on the news. Okay, they could experience trauma. Okay, sometimes if they're serious enough, they probably have PTSD as well. But that usually come maybe after 6 months. after the incident. So we still have to be careful about those. And grief. Okay. Grief is can be somebody really significant in the family or even pet. Okay. If they come across something like that, they probably very disturbed, very emotional. Scamming. Okay, scamming is very new recently in this recent year. Okay, no matter they have any loss in the scamming. Okay, the victim still very stressed or bored or very nervous. Okay, they usually feel very insecure and very anxious. They have very low sense of security. Okay, and sometimes they feel very shameful being involved in the scamming. And worst case come to worst, they could have PTSD. So, but the victim doesn't have to be related to any loss in the scamming. They could be no loss, okay, no money loss, nothing lost, but they still very affected by the scam. I do come across a case like that. Okay, just nothing lost, okay, for in the scam, but they do get affected seriously. Okay, but some people do have some loss, but they're okay. So we don't know, but we have to be careful if they come across situation like that. Next one is if they have disabilities or learning difficulties. Okay, this is usually diagnosis when they're at a younger age. So commonly you have heard autisms, ADHD, things like that, which they may need some coping, when they are young like that, but they do very sensitive to stress and very sensitive to some minor trigger in their lives. So they become very emotional sometimes. And the last one is mental illness. Okay, if the students have already diagnosed with mental illness, they're probably very easy to be triggered. Can be anything. Okay, so when they're triggered, their condition can be worsened, and they will cause some disturbance. Okay, hello. Okay, I'm not going to go through introduce what kind of mental illness here. I'm sure that you guys know. So I'm just going to emphasize how we're going to help them. All right. Okay. So when students are having emotional disturbance or having emotional outbreak in the class, so is it important that we understand which type of difficulties they are facing so we can help them better, more effectively, and most importantly, we try to prevent them to get worse and try to provide appropriate help. Okay, so we're going to go through 3 types of support here today. Okay, the first one is SEN students. Because actually the SEN student numbers in this campus is rising every year. We get quite a lot. I saw some of the head locking. Yes, quite a lot. Okay. So we're going to explain a little bit what support we have from Counseling Center and what support we have in academic. The next one is emotional distress. We just go through the course. So what happens if they are going through some intense emotions in school? How can we support them? How can we give them the appropriate help? We go through that. And the last one is crisis. Okay. When there's crisis happen, which means the student are either going to harm themselves or they are even thinking to kill themselves. Or the opposite, they want to hurt other people. Okay, what happens if that's happened in your class? Okay, so we will go through this later. So to start with, let's talk about the support of for special education needs students. Okay, usually it's not very difficult to identify the SEN student in class because they are more proactive. They will come to you for support. Usually, okay, because they usually diagnosis when they're at a very young age. So they're probably receiving some support when they're at secondary school or college. So what kind of SEN student we come across? Usually, there's 3 types. The first one is the physical and sensory disability. We're talking about the visual impairment students, the hearing impairment student, or the physical impairment students. Okay. And the second one is the learning and developmental disabilities, which means like autisms or ADHD or dyslexia, things like that. Okay. The last one is the mental illness. They all group under SEN student. Okay. So let's talk about the support. For visual impairment, actually we do have a place called SEN Corner. It is in the library, and there is one more in the research complex. So how many of you know about this one? No? Nobody knows. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay, we have two designated places. Need to book. So for the first one, the research complex is an RLG 103. You can book through the registry. So you can call the AA colleagues and book through the registry when you need a room. And the second one is the corner at the libraries located on the third floor. The student can just go to the customer service counter at the ground floor and ask for the help. Okay. Okay, the research complex when you have to book through the registry. But the library one, I'm sure they can just walk into the customer service and tell the staff that you need to use the corner. And I think they will turn on the equipment for them. Don't want to do this? So what do you mean? Oh, yes. Oh, sometimes, yes. SEN student, yes. Okay, I will go through that later. I will tell you why. Okay, so just a brief introduction about the corner because we have specialized equipment. For the visual impairment student, we have the text-to-speech software, we have the printer, special printer, and we have the video magnifier there. Okay, so this is all free, by the way. It's free. Okay. Next one, for hearing impairment students, usually they will have their hearing aid, which is self-prepared. Other than that, we do discuss individually about the support because there's many support they want and they're all individualized. They're all very different. What I put here is some examples of what we've been offered in this campus. For example, like some students require text versions of the examination rules and the time reminder, you have to show the text. Exemption from all listening examinations. And some student request to sit in the front row of the class. I'm not sure whether you come across this, and they no, okay, and they sometimes request the teacher to have a clear lip movement. Okay, something like that. And video, if you have video, subtitles as well. Okay, so but unfortunately, we don't offer sign language interpreter in this campus. Not now, okay. But I'll just to share, I know only 2 universities in Hong Kong have real-time sign language interpreter. Okay, it's quite costly actually. Okay. Next, other than the visual and the hearing, when the student have the learning and developmental disabilities or mental illness, usually there was 2 types of adjustment. First one, test and examination adjustments. Okay. This is what I put here. It's not all. It's just an example and all the popular ones. Maybe you have come across before, like extra time for examinations. Usually, a certain percentage, or they request for a separate room. Some need special seatings, or some need a break. Okay. For class and assignment adjustment, they usually need some flexibility in class attendance. All of this, just an example, and all of this are individually assessed and they all recommended by medical professional. We do need them to submit some supporting document, which is recommended by medical professionals or psychiatrists, or previously they have this allowance from education board for the BSE exam, something like that. They all proved it. Okay, so when they submit the document, we will take a look and talk to them, have a meeting with them whether they still require this in universities. Okay. Some students, to answer your question, some students, they used to have this adjustment when they're in secondary school or college. They may not want that in the universities. Okay, probably they don't want people to know they are SEN students, or probably they think they can handle it now. So if the student refuses to seek support, we cannot force them. But we do have that record. We do have the record about their SEN status, but they may not want the support. That's fine. But usually they will try probably 1 or 2 semesters. If it doesn't work very well, they will come back to us. Okay. So I mentioned before they are more proactive to seek help, if they're SEN student, but we do reach out to them. So this is the timeline to share with you is how the timeline that we reach out to the student. We allow them to have a period to declare their SEN status and the support they need from us. So for existing students, which is year 2 to year 4, we will review their support required, and I will send an email to them to ask them to update their medical support documents. Sometimes change, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have extra diagnosis. So this is usually happening in the summer holiday during July to August. Okay. And the next, for semester A, we will announce to all students, especially freshmen, to declare their SEN requirement during late October to September. And the next batch is semester B, which is happening in January to February. Okay, so when they declare, their SEN status or requirement, we do meet them individually. Okay, we do have a deadline. This is a highlight here. The deadline, we have this deadline published on our website, so they should know. And we do have this deadline on the emails we send to them, so they should know, because we need them to apply on or before week 4 of each semester. This is the deadline, they know. So we also let them know that if they do not apply before this deadline, we may not able to accommodate in the same semester. We have to do it the next semester, because sometimes it's quite a lot of work for the admin staff to prepare a lot of things. So this is the deadline for the student. So we do give them a deadline. But a very popular scenario, they sometimes apply a day before the examinations. Okay, I come across this every single year. Okay, I think you guys also receive something like that too, right? So you can highlight this to them again. We do have deadline to meet. Okay, you have to observe that. Okay, so what happens if they after they declare their status? Okay, we will meet them. We will discuss with them individually about what we can offer, what we can adjust, what we can accommodate. And after that, we will issue a advisory letter. Okay, the advisory letter will include everything that the student need for the support. And we will send this to the head of registry and the head of department for approval. So they will know whether they can accommodate those requirements. Sometimes can, sometimes cannot. Okay. So during this approval process, the department head are welcome to come to my office to look at those supporting documents, because we don't send them to you. Okay, we keep them hard copy in our office for confidentiality purpose. So, but if you need to read more, you may want to read more about their medical certificates or recommendation in more details, because they usually come in the pile. It's a really thick one. If you need that, we welcome. Come to make an appointment with our office, and you can come to it to take a look at them in details. I know some courses may want to know more about the student, therefore they can accommodate better or more suitable for them, like that. So if everything's fine, approve, no more adjustment, we will send the advisory letter to the students. Okay, so what's next is the student responsibility to discuss with their course instructor about their adjustment. Okay, so we also put that in the letter. Here's a sample. Is it too small? Can you see it? Yes. Okay. We also put that in the letter that when they receive it, they have to discuss with their course instructor 2 weeks from the issue date of this letter, or before the second week of each semester, whichever is earlier. We do write that. We emphasize that in the meeting. We emphasize that in the letter. We emphasize that in the email, so they should know. Okay, if they come to you, they say they don't know, they tell them to read it again. All right. Okay, this is how it works. So they will take this letter to their course instructor and get some additional support. But some students, why we have these tests, because some students choose to have some adjustment in one course, but not the other. Okay, they have a choice. So that's why we have to give this responsibility to the student to decide which courses they want to have adjustment, but also have to observe the timeline and the deadline. Okay. So this is example of the advisory letter. And anybody received this before? Yes. All right. Okay. Because I do receive call from different teachers during the year and asking if this is a fake one. Okay. So it's not fake because we have a job from OSA. Okay. So if you have any questions about whether it's fake or not, you can come to us or come to the call the registry. They also have a copy of this letter. So the AA also have the copy of this letter because they will have to arrange whatever they need to. Okay. So this is the process we do have been conducted for a few years about SEN students. But for those who has worked with us before, I got a good news to share because we do want to upgrade this workflow to our system. So what's happened is the approval process going to go through a system. So they will read everything on the system because right now we do that by emails. So I have to email to different teachers and professors. But we are working with IT and we try to put everything on the system. And for those confidential medical proof and things like that, hopefully we can do that on the system. So you don't have to come to my office again. All right. So hopefully that will be launched in September this year. So we're working on it. Okay, so I hope it's more confidential, more secure, and more convenience to everybody. Okay, so any question about the SEN? No? Or we can, yes. Yes, they are recommend to do so. Yeah. No, they have to show you. Yeah. Yeah. One of those I'll probably have to highlight a little bit here. For the class and assignment, we just put flexibility in class attendance. So some teacher call us and say, "What is the flexibilities?" It's actually in here. We say, kindly consider. I can't read from there. Kindly consider tendering the above support reasonable adjustment. So how to define reasonable adjustment is up to you. Okay, because there's different course requirements. Some course we may require you have to attend because you have exercise or role play or something like that in the class. You cannot miss any classes. So it's really different to each course is really different. So the flexibility we leave it to the professor. Okay, so this is your flexibilities. So that's why we put the word that is reasonable adjustment. Okay. Questions? Okay. If not, then we go to the student with emotional distress. Okay. Apart from the ACN, the emotional distress students are less proactive. They will not necessarily come to you and say, "I need help." They're usually more quiet or they probably hide away. Okay. So for this type of students, you probably have to detect them in class. Okay. Maybe you have to observe a little bit more and see if they need some help. Okay. So today I will go through some really simple signs of emotional disturbance. So you are probably can detect from your classes. Okay. There are usually many signs, but some are more difficult. So I'll just go through the simple ones so it's more easier for everybody. Okay. The first one is the appearances. Okay. The first one is the dress. Okay. If you saw them, in something inappropriate, for example, they wearing pajamas to your classes or a torn t-shirt. Okay. Or something like inappropriate for the weather, like a tank top in the 10 degrees, or they're wearing a down jacket, which is outside is like 36 degrees like that. If something is not appropriate, outfit, or sometimes they wear the same outfit for a month. I do have clients come to me wearing the same shirt, same jeans, same shoes. Everything is the same for the entire year. All right. So there's something we need to do about it. Okay. So this is one of the signs, and their hygiene. Okay. dirty clothes, oily hair, you can smell them from behind or something. This is probably an indicator telling you some distress is going on. All right. Okay. And facial expressions. Sometimes when you talk to them, they give you inappropriate response like a flat face or even no eye contact, crying all the time. It's really inappropriate to the content that you share. There is something that may you have alert you. And the attitudes, sometimes they are very on guard. Whatever you said, they hold on to their hands like that. A really hostile attitudes, like you have done something wrong, not them. Suspicious type. I know they don't believe you. They ask you how to do their assignment and the criteria probably 10 times. I do have students ask me the same questions. They go through my we do have a consent form in the counseling. They go through the detail, what the courses is about into every word. What does that mean? What do you mean by client? Who are the client? What if I left the school? Am I still your client? Do you have to put expiry date like that? They go into details like that. They're very suspicious. They don't trust people. So this is probably something that you should alert as well. And they're very resistant. Okay. So this is some of the appearances. Also, behavior is very easy to detect as well. What I mean here is they have sudden behavioral change, not the usual type of behavior. That if they're usually like that, but it's the same. But if they have sudden behavioral change, probably we have to alert. Okay, what are the common behavior? Like for example, they suddenly withdraw from the class. Usually they come very on time. Their attendance record was very good, but suddenly they don't show up anymore. They probably miss all the classes, even no show to the presentations or assignments. Or in the class, they have some inappropriate responses to whatever you are asking or you are doing in the classes. Sometimes they can be very overreacting, or they get aggressive, or they get destructive like that. Okay, so when something happens like this, it really worth to take an extra step to understand what is happening. I do have an scenario happen not too long ago. We have a student in class. There was he's a SEN student, but sometimes if he didn't show, nobody knows. But he do trigger by a really minor stuff, and he do overreacting in the class. So it was quite disturbance to the class, and the teacher couldn't continue with the classes. So what happened is, I think the teacher did the right thing, call us immediately. Because sometimes you don't know is whether they are emotional disturbers or they just mess up the classes, or it's just a discipline issues. Okay. Sometimes you don't know and you have the class to continue, then what you have to do, call us. Okay, so we can take over from there. We can comfort the students and see what's next or what happened to them. Okay, so you have your class to manage. I have a student to manage. So we work together. Okay. Next is the student who probably have some trace of self-harming. The most common one, they wear long sleeve all the time because they cut their wrist. Okay, or they have some bandage cover up. Or they simply cover up themselves. I have students wear a cap and wear a mask and long sleeve, long pants and things like that. You can even see the eyes, things like that. So probably telling you something from them. And speech. Sorry, and the speeches. Sometimes they may be jumpy, or disorganized, or self-talking, they're not responding to you, things like that. So if you discover or observe student acting this way, what you need to do is you don't have to offer help yourself, okay? All you do is you refer the students to us so we can take over from there, okay? So next is how can you refer? How to refer the cases to? You just ask him to go away or what? No, you don't. There is a simple approach I'm going to share with you today is how to talk to them and persuade them to come to us. Okay. So when you approaching the student, the only goal you are going to do is to get them to seek appropriate help. So in the campus that is coming to us, okay, that's all you need to do. But sometimes because you are a teacher, okay, they may don't want to tell you so many secrets, but that's fine. You don't have to, but just get them to get some appropriate help. So to start with, how to approach the student when they're really intense or they're really emotional or they're really disturbed. First of all, make sure that you state your purpose. Okay, you are here to offer help with a caring attitude. Okay, probably slightly different when you're having a class, but we do offer help for them and make sure it's away from the crowd. You don't know what you're going to hear next. So please observe the confidentiality. Make sure there may be a quiet corner or something, so you guys can talk privately. And how to start the conversations. We just went through all the signs, right? So you can start off talking from the signs that you observe, for example, like, I've been see you crying in the class. Is everything all right? Just to start with. Or you can say that, oh, you are looking a little bit stressed recently, or you're looking a bit upset. I saw you not communicating with your group mate. Is there something wrong? Okay, just start with something that you observe. From the student's point of view, that they probably feel, that my teacher is really caring about me because they know what happened. They saw what happened. They see me dressed like differently. Okay. So they probably feel that, oh, you really do have the caring attitude like that. So this is how you start the conversations. But prepare. They may not speak to you right away. Okay, so give them some space. They may be quiet for a while, but that's fine. Just prepare yourself to listen. Be attentive to what they're going to say to you. And most of the time, I would say they probably remain silent. Okay, so how many people will feel a little bit uncomfortable if the student next to you is silent, like completely dead air? Are you feeling all right with that? You fine? Everybody's fine? Yeah. Gotcha. And okay. Yeah. Talk to you. Oh, you're really good. Okay. Some people do with telling me that it's really difficult, when they're not talking. They just sit there, probably still crying, not responding to anything of you said. But I must say this is fine. Some people tell me it's a bit embarrassing because I'm a teacher. I'm asking you quite a lot of stuff and you're not talking to me. Okay. From the student point of view, they don't feel embarrassed at all about that because only you feel embarrassed. There must be something going through their head or something going through their mind, which is quite disturbing. So there's a lot going through there. So for them, they're not silenced. Actually, there's something inside of them. So this is you that feeling uncomfortable. So just practice a bit, get used to silence moment. I think it's fine. Okay. So when you start off the conversations, so prepare yourself to listen, okay? Not non-judgmentally. Be respectful to what they are going to tell you, okay? You're not going to judge them whatever their view or behavior. And remember, you are out of the class now. You're not teaching them anything. So just listen. No need to solve their problem. Okay, you don't have to solve their problem. Just encourage them to say more, get more information, because the more information you get, you know what help they need. Okay, they probably need us or they need medical professionals. Okay, so get more information. Okay, you don't need to speak too much. Don't speak too fast, or just let them do the talking. Okay, you just keep knocking your head. Just do it right now. That's fine. Okay, the student will understand. Okay, so you may say, "Oh, I may have to say something." Yes, of course you can, but simple. Okay, you can just say something to show you understand or you heard what they're saying by with this two simple example, like, "Oh, no wonder you are feeling upset," or "Oh, I heard that you are feeling something wrong with blah blah blah, etc." Like that. Okay, just simple. Tell you they understand. Tell you heard their feeling. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you don't have to agree with them. Okay. You don't have to agree that they are feeling sad. You just know they are. That's fine. So you don't have to say, I agree, you said no. You don't have to say that. You just say, I know you are upsetting. Okay. It sounds really good if they listen to that kind of reflections. Okay. So when they start talking to you, you kind of get more information about what's happening to the student. Don't forget your goal is to get the student to us. Okay. Refer the student to us. Okay. So this is what you need. You have to you can in the campus you can refer the case to us, or if you want any other community support or medical professional, I can share with you later in the PowerPoint. But I want to emphasize about the boundary things. Okay. Even though you offer help, okay, you have to be assertive to the student that what you can or you cannot do. Okay, you're offering help here. You're asking more information because you want to get them appropriate help, not to help them yourself. So you have to be a little affirmative about what you can or cannot do, because in this university, I know the students and the teacher relationships are really good. Okay, they're really good. And I know your professors do share your phone number with their students. Okay, right? I'm not sure how many phone numbers you've got. Okay, okay, but I do suggest you have two at least. Okay, one for the students, one for your private. Okay, this is very important because I do come over the years. I do receive calls from teachers or staff asking me for help because they share their phone to the student, but they are abusing their phone numbers. They call them in the middle of the night or weekends, wherever they want to talk to, and they trust you. You are very nice. You teach them very well. They love your classes, and they love you too. Okay, so you are building really good relationship, and of course they want to talk to you. Okay, but of course you have to be firm about your boundary that you're here to teach. You're not here to support your life forever. Okay, because it's really difficult if you find out that they really have some problem to deal with, and you try to refer the case to me after you guys are having a really good relationship and you have listened to them for months. Because what they feel is they may feel being abandoned. They do, actually, they do. They don't want to leave you. So be careful to observe the boundary. Okay, so I suggest 2 phone or more. Okay, you can also, if you pass your phone to your student, I think it's okay to tell them that this is for academic. Okay, and I do have working hours. You can say that. Okay, right? You do, right? I do. So you have to tell them call me. You know what times? Not prefer on a weekend, whatever. Okay, you can say that in the first place. It's okay, and they should observe, and respect that you have your personal time. So remember, okay. Okay, so we have been talking about, referring cases to us. So how to do that? Here is the procedures. The first one I do recommend it. Okay, if there is a student with you and they are having some distress or emotional issues, if they are okay, accompany the student to my office. Okay, they usually feel very shy, or sometimes they are reluctant because they don't know who we are actually. So it may be okay. They feel more secure if the teacher can accompany the student directly to my office. Okay, or sometimes they, just remember, don't force the student to come here, because if you force the student here, they just listen to you, but they will not come back again. Okay, so make sure you get their consent. They agree. Okay, I understand you are going through something. I may think that you are better to talk to one of our professionals. Why don't you come to the OSA counseling section and you talk to our counselors? Okay, if they agree with that, accompany the students and you can come to my office. Okay, this is recommended. Okay, second way is probably you are busy, right? Or the student is busy, so they don't want to come straight away. So what you can do is you can fill in a referral form. But first thing, you have to get a consent from the student that they are okay for you to pass along their contact informations to us. Okay. For the consent form, is it what happened when you're in your class as well sometimes? Yeah. Okay. I'm not very good at technical, so sorry. Actually, there is a referral form for staff to fill in to refer cases to us. Okay. I want to go to show you because there's some important point to note, but anyway, I can go through that later. But the referral form for the first take you have to go through is you have to get a consent from the student that you can pass along their contact to us. If you get the consent, you take for the first box, then you have to fill in some simple details, usually the student ID, student numbers, student names, and your informations. Underneath there is a small box. You can tell us a little bit more about the student, what is happened, what you observe, what you know. So we can follow up from there. Okay, this is a more usual way, more popular way that I receive referrals. Okay, but friendly reminder: this form is for staff, not for students. Okay, don't pass along the form to students. Okay, I do receive a form from student filling this form, so a bit confusing for me. So okay, the last one, the third method is they probably have to think about it. You know, they do want to think about it before they talk to a stranger. So you can let them know where to find us. We have a website. I don't think I can go there as well. I don't think so. Let's skip that one. Or we have a leaflet. I'll bring some leaflet to the class today. There's some of our information on it. So you may want to keep one in your folder just in case a student need, you can just pass along. Okay. So there's a 3-way to find us and how to refer the student to us. Okay. So what happened after you refer a case to us? Okay. We usually have an inquiry sections, which means that we will contact the student within the 24 hours after receiving the referral. We will briefly to understand what is happening to them. So we will contact them in 24 hours and briefly understand what is happening to them. And then we will assign a designated counselor to them within 1 to 2 weeks. This depends on the severity of the issues. Some people may need urgent attendance, so we will do it 1 day. But if others, we can, sometimes it's 2 weeks. Okay. But the second point is what I'm talking about is because we are strictly confidential, so we will not update the referral, the progress of the students. Okay. In case the student have the consent, which something that I need to tell you about. Otherwise, sorry, we're not going to follow up with you what is happening to the students. Okay. And the last one is very rare, but if we need to get more information about the student in class or something, we may need to contact you. But most of the time, we don't contact you. Okay. So, any questions before I go to the next? No? Okay. So crisis. Okay. Crisis means they're going to hurt themselves or hurt others. Okay. We don't want to see that at all, but it does happen. Okay. So apart from those emotional signs that I talked about before, when the student have some thought about hurting themselves or others, they do have some risk factor I want to share with you. First of all, is the personal factor. Okay, if their students are usually very low self-esteem, okay, sometimes you heard from them, they usually say, I'm bad, I'm burdened, I'm no use, like that. They have a higher risk of suicide, or some students are not able to express their issues for whatever reasons. Probably they suppress for many years. They don't like to talk about it, or they habitually pretend I'm okay, I'm happy, I'm fine, right? Okay. Or some others performance, probably poor academic performance or some issues with their family or social relationships. This may contribute a higher risk of suicide. And some situational factors, probably they are facing some recent loss. Probably if they're going through some illness or accident which caused them some damage on their body parts or some illnesses, or financial losses. Probably the family going through some bankruptcy or a sudden change in financial circumstances. And personal loss. I mean, personal support means they are losing somebody important, like family members, a loved one. And second one is for they are recently discharged from the inpatient mental health services. Why is that? Because I come across a lot of people who just discharged from the mental ward, and they are actually some people are very angry after they discharge, or they feel more hopeless, or they feel they see many scenarios inside the ward and they feel more hopeless, and they probably give them a higher risk of doing the self harm again. And if the person had a history of suicide attempts, they are higher risk. Okay. And above all these factors, if they feeling hopeless and helpless and worthless at the same time, the risk of having a suicidal plan or attempt is quite high. Okay. In Chinese 簡單嚟講，我哋話無助、無望、冇價值。如果個學生係無助、無望、冇價值咧，係好高自殺嘅諗法嘅。Okay, they're really hard. Okay, so if you detect the feeling like this, it should pay more attention. Okay, so you know about the risks. So what are the signs? Okay, first of all, sometimes they always talk about death. Probably from the news, probably from the social medias or books they share. They talk about this all the time. They display a really sad, loss of interest in many of the things, having trouble sleeping, eating. Some people having some death wish, like running a red light or standing very close at the edge of the platform. They're wishing some accident happened to them, actually. Making comments about hopeless, helpless, and worthless. Next is they already giving out their property to others, like pets or expensive properties. Saying things like it would be better if I wasn't here, I want to be disappear like that. Okay. Suddenly they're distancing from others. They're usually very close with, a bunch of friends, but they're suddenly distancing from others. And a sudden switch from very sad to very calm or appearing very happy. Excessive use of alcohol, drugs, overdose, like that. Starting talking about suicide or killing oneself. The next one is visiting or calling people to say goodbye. This is very obvious. And writing suicidal notes or letters, or already getting the material to end up their life. Okay. So if you pick up this sign, on top of the emotional ones, and of course you have to take one more step further, to understand what is really happening and get some help. Okay. So if you pick up those signs, I wonder how will you approach them? What will you say to them? Right. Okay. But how do you know whether it's a serious situations like this? You don't know? Yeah. Anybody? Others? What will you ask, talk to them? Or anybody share Rebecca's point of view? You also worrying about these kind of things? Encourage them to take further? Actually, what you need to ask is exactly what you're scared of. Okay. There's three questions you may ask them. Okay. First one, are you thinking about killing yourself? Or are you planning to do it? Do you have plans? Or even further, what are you taking any actions? Have you buy things already? Chocolate, whatever. Okay. To answer you, Rebecca, when you ask these questions, you won't motivate or encourage them to suicide, even if they don't have any plans in mind. So if you ask a normal person, do you want to kill yourself? They will tell you, don't be silly. All right. But if you ask a person who had this thought in mind, what they feel is you really read something from me and you are not shy to talk about it. They're probably going to tell you, yes, I do. And what's next? So these three questions is okay to ask. And you You may feel intimidated. You mean the students? Okay. The conversations. Okay. Okay. So once you get more information about this and they start getting emotional, you start talking them to seek help. Ever since you asked the questions, okay. It's okay, stay with them. Still ask, still get some persuade them to seek professional help, seek call us or something like that. Stay with them. Okay, don't leave them if they are crying. Okay, I'm gonna leave first. No, don't do that. Stay with the students. Okay, it's okay. They cry. Okay, because they cry, they won't kill them. You know, they cry is okay. Okay, they will stop eventually, but it's okay to cry. Okay, we always encourage students to cry. It's fine. Okay, but these three questions won't encourage them, won't increase their motivation at all. Okay, so don't worry about it. Oh, I ask this question all the time. Actually, I have a student coming to my office like are you thinking to kill yourself? You know, they were like he was very hopeless, helpless, whatever, all of everything. And he actually tell me, yes, I'm gonna kill myself after my exam on the 4th of March or something like that. They give me the date and the time. Okay. But he didn't cry. Okay. I want to. Actually, and then the next question I asked him, how? You have the date? Very good plan. He want to finish the exam first before he kill himself. Very responsible. Yeah. I actually empower. I said, you are really a responsible student. Okay, you want to kill yourself. You're not happy, and you want to finish the exam. So something really, something unique about it. Anyway, which one? The first one? Um, some people, okay, because some students are not very close or we don't have a very good report, they probably keep silence. Okay, the most distant response, probably keep silence. But, I have an hour with them, so I keep talking. Okay, I come back to the question maybe a few minutes later and asking a different way. Probably for first time I ask, are you thinking about this? And then probably 10 minutes later, I said, are you going to hurt yourself? Or have you ever, self-harming? Then we start talking from there. Okay. Or sometimes they respond, yes, I'm thinking about, I always think about killing myself. Or this is the more popular answer. I always always think about killing myself. Or the first thing they come in and say, I want to die. I heard this all the time. They come in and say, 我想死. 一入嚟，我想死啊，就嗰兩咁樣。It always happen, okay? But then we start talking. They tell you they are thinking about all the time is fine, because the next month are we going to ask, do you have a plan? They probably tell you, actually I don't. I just think about it, so that's fine. We keep talking. So if they give you a plan, like somebody give you a date, somebody give you a method. Okay, somebody asks you, do you have anything suggest? Okay, which way won't hurt too much? I do have this question. Okay, I tell you, I don't know. I'm still alive. Come on, it's true, and they do something like that, so they are thinking about it. On top, they are probably planning. Some even discuss with me. They try. Okay, they try a few times. I have a record high student. She probably 10 times, but still alive. And she shared with me what works and what not working. Yeah, she's an expert. So we talk about, then we start from there. We talk more and understand which level of severity the student is up to. Okay. But anyway, you don't have to do so much. Yes. Yes. She's still staying. Yeah. But they know, but not. Yes, sometimes they do. But if you pick up, they say no, but they still look upset, right? They probably still crying, probably they still angry, whatever. So, and you can still go on to, how about you talk to someone about your sadness or something that you're upset, something that you're angry. Okay, you don't have to drill on it. No, I think you do. You are lying. No, no, you don't have to say that. You don't. Yeah, just whatever they tell you, trust them. Okay. Questions? Okay. All right. Okay. So, if you pick up those signs, you ask those questions, you think it's dangerous, what you need to do is, okay, don't leave them alone, as I said before, and call us for help. Okay. Because sometimes the risk is right in front of you. So, don't fill in the form. Okay. Just give me a call. Okay. It takes too much time to fill in the form. All right. Or, um, if you think, okay, sorry, I'll take the first one first. There is a scenario I want to share with you is, sometimes they tell you they have this idea, not face to face. They send you emails. Okay. So what will you do? I do have a scenario is a teacher received an email from a student saying that I'm going to kill myself. I'm not going to come into the quiz, something like that. So you probably think, are they threatening me because they don't want to do the quiz or something like that? But we take every time seriously, so don't think about that. So what the teacher do is she give us a call immediately about this email, and we teach them how to get the student to come to us. Of course, they get the consent first. So the teacher finished after the class. I think she called the students and concerning she is going to do something stupid and asking her if she want to talk to somebody in the counseling sections, and the student agree. So the teacher come back to me and telling me the student identity. So before that, she didn't. She did really good. She didn't. Okay. So afterward, she get the consent from students. So we get their identity. We know where she is, and we go out to reach her. Okay. So we pick up the case from there, and she's still alive. Yes. Okay. So this is one of the samples. So sometimes when you receive some sign, they're probably not face to face, probably from emails, probably from your WhatsApp. Okay. Like that. Okay. So what happened if you observe a attempt is right in front of you? Okay. Just call. Okay. There's 3 parties you have to call. The 999 for emergency, the security control room. What they do is they control the situations, and then you call us. All right. What we do there, we manage the case or some on-site support. Probably we know the student, so we can do some more from there. Okay. So if you observe this, or the third scenario is you heard something is going on. Okay. You heard, but you can't see what is happening. Doesn't matter. You don't know whether it's true or not. Doesn't matter. Just give us a call as well. Okay. We try to identify who and where the student is, and we try to find out what is happening. Sometimes we do receive a call before is a student locked herself in the toilet for over an hour. You don't know what's happening, but must be something wrong. Okay, so just give us a call. Okay, you don't have to confirm sometimes because every scenario is unique. Okay, they have some creative ideas on how to harm themselves all the time. So just whenever you don't know, it doesn't matter. You just give us a call. So she kind of like telling you it's too difficult, and your assignment making her to kill herself. Okay, okay, okay. I will separate 2 things. Okay, first of all, she has that thought about killing herself for what kind of reasons? Doesn't have to be your assignment. It could be something else. You still do the right thing. You refer her to the counseling sections. Okay. This is what you have to do. But of course, you will come across student refuse. This is very normal. But what you do to keep saying it. Probably you can change your way of telling her each time. Maybe you show your concern that your situation really worry me. Probably you have to talk to somebody to make you feel better. Okay. I think you should talk to someone else like this. Okay. Because you're here to teach. Okay. Just tell her that I think you should talk to someone and get some help. Things like that. You have to keep repeating, but don't try to mix with the I would suggest don't try to mix with her suicide thing with your exam assignment questions, because she probably tried to lead you to say things she want to hear from you. So when she talk about emotion, just focus on the emotion things. Okay. Yeah. Try harder. Try harder. Or you can accompany her to our office if she in your class. Have you tried to ask? Ah, so you know. Okay, so probably if you pick up some other time in the class, probably not related to our assignments, and she still have some emotional problems, you may still want to suggest her to do that. Okay. Keep trying. Yeah. Sometimes they take some time to think about it. Yeah. All right. So what okay. The next one is act of violence. Okay. I'll go into the next one. Any more questions about suicide? But is it part of the homework to write down the procedures about things like that? Is it part of the homework or okay, okay. Okay. Sometimes they act happy to cover up their real feelings. This is very common. All right. So if you spot something that, get your attentions, try to talk to her other times. Try different times, probably not after she submit your assignment or before your assignment. Some other times, quiet times, when you think that she's probably more stable or she's willing to talk. Okay, try different times to talk to her about if she's okay. Okay, you don't have to directly every single time asking her, are you trying to kill yourself again? Or do you have this thought in mind? You don't have to. Just show your concern that you care about if there's anything upsetting her in her life. Encourage her to talk to someone. Okay, because you don't know when is her vulnerable time that she probably is considering to get some help. Okay, you don't know, I don't know either. So we have to try. But probably if you try a few times, after receiving her assignment, try some other times. She's still here, right? So that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Rebecca. No. All right. Okay. Get a pile of my leaflet. Try to give it to her, put it in her bags, wherever you can. Okay. Sometimes I do that in my sections. Okay. Not my leaflet, but the suicide prevention hotlines cards. Okay. They probably just give it to them. You don't know when is it useful, but sometimes they do go through their bag and call them after a few days during their difficult moments. So get some of my leaflet or some of my cards, wherever. Just give it to them. So you do one more step. You give them support. Probably not now. Okay, you can tell her probably not now. Okay, maybe sometimes later. Just keep it. So your boundary have to be very strong. You have to be very strong. Some do attention seeking for just keep saying I want to die, but we every single time take it seriously because we don't know when is the real time they're going to do it. So I do 狼來呢個故事我日日都成日都發生。Okay, so every time they say it, I take it seriously. Okay, even they just want to get some attention, that's fine. Yeah, but during the time you talk to them, just have to state your boundaries so they know what you cannot do. Probably you just talk, that's it. And you're not going to give him more attention. You're not going to give him more tips about whatever assignment that she's going to do. Okay, stay firm with that. And probably you can if they want to talk or she want to talk to you about those things again, you probably just keep her 5 minutes. Every single time, 5 minutes. Not more, not less. So they know, this is all you can. So if they want attention seeking, this is all you get, 5 minutes. Sometimes they will abuse our empathy. I do that all the time, being like that, but it's fine. Yeah, just stay firm. Okay. Any questions? Scenario? Trouble? Students? No? All right. Okay. Almost the end. The other crisis is when the student having some violence at. Okay. If they're going to tell you, they just tell you, I want to hit that guy or hit that student, whatever. Just call us or refer the case to us. Okay. We starting from there. But if you really observe violence in the campus, first of all, you keep yourself safe, and then you have to call the security room. The security is the one who try to control the situations, and if they will call 999 for help if there's emergency. Okay, you will see here. I'm kind of out of the picture. Why? Because when the people are acting violence, they cannot effectively communicate. They cannot talk effectively. So So the most important is control the situations. So if violence happens, call the security, call the 999. Also for the scenario 3 where you heard it, if you heard a violence happening somewhere in the campus, you also call the security to identify where and who they are. Okay? But this is not very common, honestly. Yeah. Okay, so almost come to the end. So where to find us? Okay, we are here. Our numbers, email. We are located in the residential and Amethyst complex, Mật Hong, Say Lao. And we do have office hour. We work Monday to Friday, 9 to 6. Okay, so but we do sometimes arrange Saturday appointment with student if that necessary. Okay, and our service is free. You can tell the student it's free. Probably they are more willing to come. Okay, we do serve active student in the school. Appointment is required. We usually quite full, and we do face-to-face sections. Sometimes students ask for online sections, but we try to do them face-to-face still. Just some special case, we probably do it 1 or 2 times, but we prefer face-to-face because sometimes if they're having dangerous, we know in front of you. And we have 4 counselors. We have 3 females and 1 male counselors. And we've talked about security, right? This is their numbers. 24 hours they work, so quite useful. And outside office hour, what we do, we do have some community support resources. The first 3 are the suicide prevention hotlines. They 24 hours. The next one is the Shall We Talk. I think you should heard of that. It is the mental health support hotline from the government. They are quite good actually. You can encourage the student to, if they want to talk to somebody in the middle of the night, call them. They have a service standard to pick up the call within 15 or 10 seconds. They have real people to talk to, and it's quite good. You can try. Okay. The last one is the Open Up. It's an online chat platform. Nobody pick up the phone. It's just a chat. But they do. A lot of young people really like this one. Because they don't want to talk. They want to type. Okay. Other resources. I'm not going to go through that because of the time. You can do that later. And the last one I want to share is we do have what I've discussed today in more details version. We do have a counseling service menu. We do have the SEN support menu. We do have crisis management handbook, all available to staff. It's all on the intranet. I'm not sure whether you know where the intranet is. Actually, it's all on the intranet and also the staff referral form. I'll try to do it here, but I just don't think it show up here. If the student already declare with us and sign all the consent form and they need the adjustment, things like that, your department and the registry should know about this already. Okay, but if they declare their SEN status, but they don't want to disclose, because we have a checkbox, okay, whether they want to have a consent or not. If they didn't take it, we don't disclose the information. So even though if you ask me, if they are one of those who didn't give us a consent, we just have to tell you no comment. Okay, this is the intranet I want to show you. Have you guys go to SharePoint? You don't know about this? Yeah, okay. If you go to SharePoint, the resources, under the folder of OSA counseling section, you can find the service menu. It provides you more details about the support of counseling or SEN. This is the form I want to share before this. Okay, if you want to refer a student to us, first of all, you have to get the consent. If you get it, tick yes. Okay, then you fill in the staff information, student information, briefly tell me what is happening, or write a few lines to tell us what is happening, why need us, and submit to us. Okay. Also, there's one more places you can find the crisis handbook is under HR. Crisis. This is crisis management. Okay, this crisis management is more scenario than what I just shared today. Could be fire or anything. Okay, other scenarios about crisis, not just suicide. So it's more information there. Okay. So I will share the PowerPoint today with Emmy, and she will send it back to you guys. So you can easily click on the link instead of just copy it down. Okay.